All right, hello everyone. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make herbarium labels from an Excel spreadsheet using the mail merge feature of Microsoft Word. So first things first, you need to go ahead and open up your Excel spreadsheet, and then you're going to want to come to row one. Going to need to type a column header for all of the different information you're collecting. So things like family, species, state, county, etc. And then for each row, that will be an individual specimen that you're going to fill out all of that information for. So some things that are worth noting. For one, I mostly study plant ecology, so I tend to go pretty heavy with the habitat descriptions, and I tend to also include associated taxa, which are just the other plants that were grown in the immediate vicinity. Um, that also helps to kind of illustrate what habitat it was grown in. Most people don't go quite that hard, but I do just because that's who I am. Another thing, I include a description of any features that maybe don't preserve well as herbarium specimens. So things like flower color, most flowers are just going to turn to brown once they're dried out. I also have unique numbers for all my collections that just helps me tie back my specimens to my records. Something else, so Excel automatically reformats dates, and it can get really annoying. Uh, so what I do to deal with that is I'll come to the column and I will right click. I'll come down to format cells, custom for this, and then there's an area to type up your own format. So you can do this how you want. Personally, I type 1D that will write out the number, space, 4 M's. That's going to write out the month in its full form, not its abbreviated form, space, and then 4 Y's, which will give the whole year. Um, So once you have that done, you can hit OK, and that'll format all of your dates that way. Um, Something else to note with coordinates, I do 5 decimal points for the coordinates. That brings you to about a meter accuracy, which is plenty, and that's more than what most GPS, consumer GPS or phones would record anyway. Um, and then also something else I do that's a little bit different. I include the iNaturalist number. That's just the number at the end of the URL. And I do that because I like the idea that maybe somebody will want to see what that plant looked like while it was alive and in habitat. And if they wanted to and they got curious, they could do that. So anyway, once you get uh, all of the information plugged into your Excel spreadsheet, um, what you need to do is go ahead and open a blank Word document. Um, so once you get here, you're going to go to Mail-ins, Start Mail Merge, then I go to Labels, and then I do quarter letter labels because I tend to have long habitat descriptions that take up a lot of space. And then I will do it in this one here, the second one, and that'll give it to me in landscape format, which is what I like. So go ahead and hit OK. That'll go ahead and switch it to quarter sheet landscape format. And then I'll come to select recipients, use an existing list, and then you need to go ahead and find that Excel spreadsheet that you used. So once you find it, go ahead and open. And then because I had multiple sheets, I'm going to go ahead and select the one that I want, hit OK. And then I can go ahead and start making my labels. So to add the different categories of information, you come to Insert Merge field, and then you select what you want. So I'm just going to kind of quickly throw something together. Um, so something like that. And the nice thing is that you can edit these. So let's say I want species to be nice and big and bold. I can come change it to 16, bold. You can also physically type things. So if I want the state and county to have a label, you know, do that. And you just continue to insert merge fields and edit them. One thing worth noting is that you should periodically just hit update labels. Uh, this just kind of saves your work. Um, and it's kind of like hitting the save button. Also, you definitely want to hit update labels before you hit preview results, because if you don't, then it'll undo all the work that you just did. So anyway, you can hit update labels, preview results, and it'll show you what it looks like. So then you can click that again and go and continue editing. I'll get it to a pretty good place where you think it looks good, and then I'm going to go ahead real quick and pull up my finished label format. Um, so the nice thing about this is that once you have a format that you're really happy with, you can just download a copy of this, and then you can always go in to your select recipients and use existing lists, and you can change which uh, Excel sheet you use. So that's really nice, and it can save you a lot of work from having to retype this every time you want to do a new batch of labels. But anyway, once you have it where it looks good to you, you can come over here to finish and merge. And then I personally always go to edit individual documents, and I'll show you why in a second. So I'll just go ahead and click all, and then so one thing that you run into is that I've never been able to find a way to italicize the species name and not the author without manually doing it. So I go to edit individual documents to do that. And you can just go italicize all these. It doesn't take too long. You can also change anything. Like let's say I want to change the spacing on a few individual ones, I can do that. But anyway, once you get them where you're happy with them, you can just, save it as you would and then go ahead and print them. So I hope that helps y'all, and thanks for watching.